everybody, this is Adam for Jason Adam TV on YouTube. If you haven't, please subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up. I just got off from work today. I teach English at a cram school in Jubei, Taiwan. It's a pretty easy job, and Jubei is a pretty rich neighborhood, so there's a lot of job openings for English teachers here. So today I was teaching a group of young girls, and one girl was wearing a Winnie the Pooh t-shirt, and I asked her if it was Xi Jinping, and she laughed. And I said, well, we better not say anything because your phone might be listening. I was joking, of course. Here in Taiwan, we don't have the surveillance state that China has. But they didn't know what I was talking about. So I played a clip of Uncle Roger, the comedian, talking about Huawei phones listening to you. And they found that rather funny. They didn't know that Uncle Roger had been banned in China for that joke. So yeah, things are a lot freer in Taiwan than in China. You can watch YouTube. You can get on Twitter, TikTok, all those apps without a VPN, and you don't have to worry about someone coming knocking on your door for watching those types of videos in Taiwan. So it's a lot more laid back and a lot freer here. Just today I saw a video taken in China of the biometric systems that they use to track people nowadays in China. Retinal scans, fingerprints, gait detection, which is a rather recent development in biometrics. So even if you wear a disguise or clothes that cannot be that don't show your face, or that you cannot be detected with, you can still be detected by the way you walk. All of us have a unique gait, and AI systems, computer systems can record your gait, and you can be identified by the way you walk. So China is employing that method now to track people. So it's getting rather scary in China, the way that they are tracking anyone and everyone there. Noor asked, how are you? I'm doing good. I just got off from work. Today's my easy day. I just teach one class today, and it's a small class of girls, and I teach them English. So yeah, it's I was talking about censorship in China and how free things are in Taiwan. In a lot of ways, it's even more free here than in the U.S. because we don't have the the mass shooters that America has nowadays. There was just a shooting recently in Florida, probably gang-related, that I heard about in the news. Taiwan doesn't have that. Of course, there is the occasional gang violence in Taiwan, but very rarely do gangsters go after people other than other gangsters or people who owe them money or things like that. So Taiwan is a relatively safe place to live, and it enjoys a lot of freedom. Yeah, I was talking to my nephews. My nephews live in America, and they were talking about how the ISPs, internet service providers in America, monitor your internet usage. And they claimed that their ISP knew when they used an ad blocker on their internet browser and told them not to use an ad blocker, which I find very Orwellian. So in some ways, you know, America is less free than Taiwan. Yeah, the sun is very bright. It's the late afternoon sun here in Taiwan, trying to shield my eyes from the sun. So yeah, in America, it's more about IP protection, copyright protection. It's not the government trying to track you so much as it is, you know, companies trying to make sure you pay for their products rather than. And I guess when you use an ad blocker, it could be argued in a way that you are, you know, taking that service from the website without payment, which advertisements, I guess, are a form of payment nowadays. So yeah, companies in America are strict about intellectual property and copyright. Taiwan hasn't yet really cracked down. I've heard they're starting to. They've started to crack down on the websites that show movies, right? Mm-hmm. So there are websites that show movies from America for free, and I think the Taiwan government has started to crack down on that. But otherwise, the internet is pretty much free here. I can joke about Taiwan's president or China's president without fear of any reprisal.
Okay, there some messages that we actually got a lot of messages.
Okay.
So you want to reply them?
So we got some messages on our channel. I'm going to reply to some of the messages if I can see them in the sun here. Someone said, but the blue is angry that our current president ignores many people in Taiwan. I think this person is referring to the Blue Party, the KMT or Kuomintang Party. I'm not sure what they mean by ignores many people, but
in pen blue.
I would say it probably has to do with the housing bubble in Taiwan right now, which many countries are having. Housing prices have gone up and salaries have remained stagnant for a while. So young people find it very difficult to own a home in Taiwan. That's also happened in the US and many other developed countries. And I think it's due to a lot of real estate speculation. In Taiwan, it's still mostly families doing the real estate speculation, but in America, it's large corporations that are doing real estate speculation and buying up properties and fixing them up and raising the prices on everything. Also, inflation went up during COVID in Taiwan, but not as much as in other countries. But it's still inflation has increased, and the government hasn't come up with a comprehensive plan to deal with that yet. So there are definitely some things that the government needs to address in Taiwan. Okay, next comment. You actually not said it completely right. My English is not well, but in the latest vote, the winner is blue. So if you want to say Taiwan and China, you have to say from the last time the vote who lose, then maybe cannot part of China, but in some of them I think they are in a middle ground between Taiwan and China. Taiwan, it is depending on what kind of race they see themselves or country they finally believe, because ROC is another China and China government. To be more clearly, ROC and PCC are actually one originally and maybe can be the final solution. I'm sorry, I'll try to respond. I think I understood what this person is saying, even though their English is a little wonky. So they're talking about the last mayoral elections in Taiwan, which took place, what was it, year before last or last year? the mayor elections.
I think it was last year.
And the KMT party won most of the mayoral elections in Taiwan last time. But that doesn't always indicate who will be president. It's more like the congressional midterm elections in the U.S., I would say, the mayoral elections. If the people are not completely happy with the government and the job it's been doing, oftentimes they'll vote for different legislators in America, or legislators from the opposition party. And I think the same could be said of the mayoral elections in Taiwan. In America, sometimes legislators go on to be president. In Taiwan, sometimes mayors go on to be president. So I think the election last time was more unhappiness over, COVID. There wasn't a hard lockdown in Taiwan, but the economy did suffer quite a bit during COVID, and inflation did increase. So I think that election, in my opinion, was the mayoral election last time was more of an indication of people being unhappy with the status quo and the economy, the state of the economy. And it has contracted somewhat due to COVID. Okay, to address another issue, it is true a minority of people in Taiwan do see themselves as both Chinese and Taiwanese. And traditionally that has been true of middle-aged people and older. If you look at the people middle-aged or older, perhaps a majority of them see themselves as Chinese. But when you look at the bigger picture, everyone in Taiwan, the majority think of themselves as Taiwanese. And some people are in between. Some people see themselves as Taiwanese and Chinese. So it's not a black and white situation. But according to the latest polls, the majority of Taiwanese do not want to join China under the one country, two systems plan, like Hong Kong. The majority of people in Taiwan have rejected that plan. And there are polls that do show that. So while it's true that there are middle-aged and older Taiwanese, people my age and older, who think that Taiwan and China will unify one day, the majority of people do not. The majority of Taiwanese. And that's due to the fact that older people in Taiwan are old enough to remember the KMT government. And they fall into two categories. The people who are old enough to remember the martial law government of Chiang Kai-shek. The first category is people who are related to native Taiwanese people and Chinese people who lived in Taiwan before the KMT came from China. And those people were more likely to lose land and lose money and lose power under the KMT government that came here in 1949. And they are more likely to be supporters of the Green Party, the DPP. And then there are the people who came over, or their ancestors came over in 1949 or later from China, and they benefited more under the KMT government. And some of them became very rich because of land grabbing that took place when the KMT came to Taiwan. So those people are more likely to support the KMT and also more likely to support the idea that there's one China and Taiwan is a part of it. So like I said, it's not a cut and dried situation, but the big picture is the majority of people in Taiwan see themselves at least partly as Taiwanese, and the majority of people in Taiwan reject unifying with China, at least in the present. Perhaps if China changes in the future, it might be a consideration, but most Taiwanese people reject unifying with China at the moment, and that is a fact. Okay, let's see. Who are you? How could you say Taiwan is not part of China? Republic of China is their official name. Well, it's like I had this conversation with some of my adult students, Taiwanese students, when I was teaching adults English in Taiwan. That wasn't very long ago, maybe 5 years ago. We had this conversation, and I mentioned the Constitution. And one of my students laughed and said the ROC Constitution, it doesn't mean anything. And let me explain that. The Republic of China Constitution was written it was written in China. And so it was a constitution that was carried from China to Taiwan by the Kuomintang, or the Blue Party. And also the name Republic of China was carried from China to Taiwan by the KMT. And let me reiterate, not everyone in Taiwan came from the people who sought refuge in Taiwan in 1949. There were people here before that. So basically the KMT invaded Taiwan. They laid down martial law, and anyone who dared go against the government was disappeared or killed by the KMT. And of course this was in the past, during the martial law era in Taiwan, which ended in 1987. So the name Republic of China is outdated, and the people of Taiwan know that. The Constitution is outdated, and the people of Taiwan know that. But they are also afraid that if they change the name, that China will invade, because China has been threatening to do this for many years. They have threatened that if Taiwan makes any movements towards independence, which they consider a name change, a move towards independence, that they will bomb Taiwan. So that's what's keeping Taiwan from changing its name. Almost no one uses the name Republic of China in Taiwan except for maybe official documents. They all say, I'm from Taiwan. In fact, Jason and I went to the Philippines, and at first one of the airport workers read Republic of China and thought Jason was from China. And Jason set them straight. He said, no, I'm from Taiwan. And they said, oh, okay. And they let him on through. But yeah, the Republic of China is an outdated name. It's an outdated concept, as well as the Constitution, the official Constitution of the Republic of China. It needs to be changed. But with China threatening to kill Taiwanese people if they change the name of the country, we're stuck with the outdated name. Okay, let's see. It says, Taiwan is China's Taiwan, not your Yankees' Taiwan. It has the courage to announce the establishment of... oh, they didn't finish their comment. So, yeah, I'm going to address the first part of the comment. Taiwan is China's Taiwan, which is not true. China, even in the time of Qing Dynasty, didn't control all of Taiwan. They only controlled part. Then Japan took over Taiwan after the what was the name of the war in the 1800s between China and Japan? The Chinese-Japanese War. So anyway, Japan took over Taiwan. Then after World War II, control of Taiwan was given back to the KMT, which was the government of China at the time, until 1949, when the People's Republic of China took over. The status of Taiwan legally is in limbo, but in reality it is free. We don't ask China to arbitrate in our legal cases in Taiwan. The government of China doesn't make the laws here. They have threatened to take over Taiwan, but right now they have no control over Taiwan. So it's a fallacy to say that Taiwan is China's Taiwan. It doesn't belong to China. Okay, I'm scrolling through the Chinese comments because I can't read Chinese.
No, there's a translation function.
Oh, there is a translation function.
It's okay, you can just read the English.
I don't see the translate. Oh, wait, I do see the button. Let's see. Okay, I'll pick one of these. I don't see the translation button. Okay. Anyway. Someone wrote in English, Taiwan is the Republic of China. That is Taiwan's legal name, but like I said before, it is only Taiwan's name because China has threatened to invade Taiwan if they change their name.
There's no translation. I think it's on bottom of each post.
Some of them have it and some don't. Okay. Okay, someone said, I really want to get the relationship between Taiwan and China through to the world. After World War II, 48 nations sent their representatives to San Francisco, U.S. But they didn't finish the comment. Oh, wait a minute. Let me click this link. Okay, here it is. And signed the Treaty of Peace with Japan in 1951. According to the treaty, Japan only renounced sovereignty over Taiwan, but Japan never transferred the sovereignty over Taiwan to any country, including China. As a result, the ownership of Taiwan belongs to the 23.5 million citizens currently living in Taiwan. Taiwanese have elected their president and Congress members every 4 years since 1996. We should call a spade a spade. And actually, you are correct. I stand corrected. When Japan ceded Taiwan, they did not legally give control over Taiwan to any country. So, like I said, the legal status of Taiwan is, according to most countries, is in limbo. I think about 14 countries right now recognize Taiwan as independent. But in fact, it is independent, as I said before. No other country controls Taiwan right now. And I agree that the 23.5 million people of Taiwan should determine Taiwan's future. Taiwan's present and future.
Regarding the fact that Taiwanese passports are actually more valuable than Chinese. I think most of the country recognize Taiwanese passport and Chinese.
Right, and I think a lot of countries are more relieved to see people from Taiwan than from China, for some reason or another. But I would like to say that threatening to bomb someone to make them join you is coercion. It is illegal. And that's what China has been doing to Taiwan. They are trying to scare the people of Taiwan, and in the past it has backfired every time that they have tried to scare the people of Taiwan. The Taiwanese people, the majority, time and time again, have said they do not want to join China as it stands today, with the government that's in charge of China today. Now, that doesn't mean that Taiwanese people don't like Chinese people. Taiwanese people like Chinese people. And they share a similar culture. They are a similar people. But it's fallacious erroneous to say that because they share a similar culture, they must be forced to join each other. That is ridiculous. It would be like someone saying that the US and the UK have to join together because they share a similar culture. The people of the UK and the people of the US would not stand for it. And that's because we have a democratic government. We have a say in the future of our country. And Taiwanese people have a say in the future of their country. And no amount of coercion, blackmail, threats, or otherwise will change that. The Taiwanese people will determine their future. Okay, let me see if I can find any other comments.
I think that's let's just do it now because we are almost there.
Okay, we're almost home. I'm almost home from work. So again, if you haven't, please subscribe to our channel,
We can do
Jason
more,
Adam TV on YouTube.
we can do more just read more letters.
Yeah, I will do more reactions and more commentary in the future on Jason Adam TV, and I'll try to reply to more comments. Sometimes I have trouble with the translation in Chinese. Jason, if he's not driving, he can translate for me. He's fluent in both Chinese and English. All right, see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow, you got almost 700 likes.